Let's see if
Hey, Bruce.
magpaparamdam si
Hello.
Bruce. Ayun! Right on cue. Thanks,
Hey, man.
Bruce.
Reddit Regal as well. Hello. Coming in from YouTube.
Salamat sa mga naggalaw ng baso. Live on
Yeah.
TikTok as well. Hello, hello.
Glendale as well. Hello. I know Glendale is keeping up with the G1. I gave up somewhere in the middle. So. Hello,
Your
Senor.
effort is admirable.
Yeah. Playoffs na din naman eh, so I'll probably get back to it. So. Yeah, Bruce, congratulating you, Stan, for the FIBA gig.
Uy, thank you, Bruce. I appreciate it. I was
Now live on.
actually talking to some friends yesterday after I announced it because I started receiving all these messages. Sige, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say no, we're live on
This year.
TikTok.
Anyway,
Ayun.
Emil, I was saying kanina before Road dipped out. I was talking to some people who were messaging me, and I was wondering, parang, oh, bakit biglang yung mga wrestling friends ko were like saying congratulations and shit. And I realized that I guess meron pa rin yung he's one of us type of mentality, which is good, diba? It kind of makes you feel all warm and fuzzy that we kind of have this.
Yeah, this yeah. That's cool.
Thanks, Julian. Wrong federation though, it's FIBA, not FIFA, but I appreciate it.
That's two different federations.
Thanks, Awi. Two different sports.
Yeah. So, like Stan, if we watch dun sa like all access channel ng
So
FIBA
si
World
Admin
Cup,
Angelo,
we'll get to
nagpaparamdam from a
we'll get to see you there, right? Because pag walang
I
commercials
actually don't know,
it's-
Emil. I wish I could answer. I wish I could answer that. I
kinda
actually
like
don't
the-
know. I'm gonna have
kinda
to
like
ask
with
the
the-
people running the show.
yeah. Diba yung League Pass, right? The one of the benefits of the League Pass is that there are no commercials and you'll get to see the in-arena entertainment. So I was wondering if that all yun din yung mangyayari.
Exactly. That's the idea, pero hindi ko alam.
Saying it hello again to our kapodcast.
Testing. This is really annoying. You really gotta get rid of
Yeah,
StreamYard.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Si Admin Angelo naka-tune in from his teacher's funeral. I'm really sorry for your loss, but also please be in the moment. You don't have to like listen to us habang nandiyan ka sa lamay. That's kind of sad and like, we'll take you out of it. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Elimar, sa TikTok for sending a rose, and he became the #1 gifter because of that. So I don't know. Di ko alam yung palitan ng stickers to pesos, but just keep them coming, guys. Please send us shit.
Hey, thank you.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Welcome to the big time.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the star.
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast.
Hey.
Fancy, Romoran, and Emil ASH checking in on another Thursday live stream. And before anything else, pansinin muna natin na si Emil ASH nasa casting couch.
This I don't have an office, parang office space dito sa bahay. So sa sala ako nagwo-work, and dito rin ako I'm doing this right now in sa sala namin since ako lang naman nandito. So very chill.
All right. It's nice to see you very comfortable and everything. And we said this na nung Picks of the Week episode, but we just gotta say it again. Thank you again to everybody who showed up and joined us nung Sunday for the SummerSlam viewing party. Ro hosted it, Sina Emil and Rowan, they were there as well, alongside our friends from Geek Talk PH. Thank you to Geek Talk PH, and thank you to our friends from Everybody's Toys and Collectibles for that Roman Reigns Tribal Chief gift pack na pinamigay natin. It went to friend of the podcast, Nico Parungo. Really happy that he was able to take that home. And thank you as well to our friends from Skinny Mike's BGC. They've been having us and our viewing parties for 8 years or 9 years at this point. So sobrang laking bagay that we still work together and that we're able to bring the viewing party experience to everyone. So I think we got to start by talking about a viewing party because people are asking about the idea of an all-in viewing party. So, Ro, let them know where it's at right now.
Okay, so it's still in the very early planning stages, even though there's like a little over 2 weeks to go before the show. So, as it stands, all in, it's an event in London, so it's gonna be at 1 a.m. And knowing Tony Khan, that shit's gonna run until like 5 or 6, diba? So that's gonna be crazy. But only 2 people have asked me about it. One of them was in the bathroom while I was peeing, but if you guys want it, you guys have to let me know that you are willing to commit to, trooping over to our venue at that early, the wee small hours of the morning. Tapos, we'll be watching it together. So, if you guys don't tell me, I'll only have the 2 people who have asked so far to go on, and that's not really enough for a viewing party. So,
mag-uusap sila habang umiihi.
And then we'll have maybe Emil, maybe Rowan. I don't know. It's a Monday. It's a really really early Monday morning. I can hack it. I think we can hack it, but we just need your commitment for it. So if you want an all-in party, please sound off in the comments. Please sound off. Comment on our posts. Let other people know that you are asking for it. Build up that grassroots support for it, and then we can make it work with our friends from either Skinny Mike Sports Bar or Hobby Stadium. Because I know we're always looking forward to having viewing parties. You just gotta let us know. I say in SummerSlam there was a real groundswell of support. See, Skinny Mike came to me and asked if we were gonna do it. So that was like the sign that we should do it. So I know that AEW isn't hitting the same as WWE, pero they're still fans. I'm still a fan. I still want to catch it, but you gotta be all in with us here. Pun slightly intended. So yun lang naman.
Yeah. Marami pa tayong pakulo in case you really enjoyed yung SummerSlam viewing party experience and you want to have more interactions with people in the wrestling community or the wrestling podcast community. We can tell you as early as now that we're working on another event for next month and we're really excited to share more details as they become available. Pinaplansya lang namin yung details on our end so that when we announce it, everyone can get really excited and we can get together again in one place at the same time. Let's also throw it to Emil because he wants to let you know about all the wonderful benefits of being a wrestling podcast patron.
All right, so if you want to get the full wrestling podcast experience, all you got to do is subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/wrestling podcast for only $5, or in a local currency, it's around 260, 270 pesos. So very budget friendly siya for for every single one of you. And of course, there are benefits. Of course, we have. Oh, sorry about that. We have the Discord community where you can interact with us and your fellow podcast. And we also, kung walang viewing party, we host our virtual viewing parties there. So if you wanted to join in on that, so you could do that in our Discord. You can also talk to us about wrestling, about memes, sports, fashion, anything else, anything under the sun. Of course, we have the pasabais, which we are cooking up something. So if you want to get your authentic wrestling merch, WWE, AEW, or any other wrestling merch, you can get it through us. More details about that later, so just stay tuned. And
No,
also,
no, no. We'll talk about it now. We'll talk about it now. No, no, no. Let's
alright,
talk about
okay,
it
we'll
now.
talk-
So
yeah.
it's not just a patron thing for now. We're testing a new system. We're testing a new setup in which it's also open to non-patrons. If you guys want to get some authentic merch, as Emil said, pero for non-patrons, it's going to be a little more steeper because we're trying to make money here. Let's be real. We're trying to make those lemonades out of lemons here. So just PM us if you wanted to. PM the Wrestling Podcast Facebook page if you want to know more. But patrons have it a little easier here, so it would be very beneficial and very advantageous for you kung maging patron ka ng Wrestling Podcast. So yeah, but it's open to all of you guys if you want. If you want merch from WWE Shop AEW, even outside there you go. Thank you. Even outside those particular online merch stores, we can make it happen, and we are, in the process of doing that soon. And if this takes off, if there's enough interest, I think we could do it a little more regularly than beyond sale events, sale occasions, and special holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah, expect lang na may konting service fee because, there is a bit of work that goes into this. What we're doing is basically coordinating everything and handling logistics, which is actually a lot of real work, especially kapag dumadami ng orders.
Yeah.
So, just to explain kung bakit meron tayong service fee na pinapatong on top of the fees you'll have to pay for the product itself, for shipping to yung forwarder, and then yung forwarder papunta sa atin dito sa Pinas. Ganun lang talaga. It's really, the struggle of being in a third world country on literally the other side of the world. But it is what it is, and we're doing what we can to make wrestling merch accessible to everyone, the same way na wrestling hopefully is more accessible to everyone. So, thank you, Babyface producer Jasper, for putting up that slide. It's time for us to get into some actual wrestling talk, and we're gonna start with Jimmy Uso. And coming out of SummerSlam, everybody was emotional over what happened, for good reason. Kasi syempre, everybody was expecting na si Jey Uso, it was his time. He was gonna be the one to vanquish the tribal chief. Tapos nakiepal si Jimmy Uso, and he did what he did. So, first reactions, Emil, did you see this coming? And how did you react nung nakialam na si Jimmy Uso?
I did not see this coming, pero weeks leading into SummerSlam. Medyo I'll go on a rant here now. Weeks leading into SummerSlam, I've been seeing a lot, especially when Jimmy Uso got taken out. I've been seeing a lot of people, a lot of tweets, a lot of posts, na they're saying that Jimmy Uso is gonna return at SummerSlam to turn on Jey Uso. And noon, I thought, that's stupid. Kasi, Jimmy's the one who pushed Jey to stand up to Roman. So why would Jimmy do that to his own brother? Plus, I thought if that happens, the Bloodline story will officially jump the shark for me. Kasi for me, doing that turn is just doing a swerve for the sake of doing a swerve, for the sake of popping everyone. And that's my initial reaction when it happened nung Sunday. I can't believe that they actually pulled that off. And again, this is moments when it happened. I was thinking, are they running out of ideas for this storyline? They have built this storyline great up to this point, and now they can't seem to finish it. They can't seem to write a good ending. It reminds me of How I Met Your Mother, which I think a lot of people here in the comments will know what I'm talking about, right? It was a great series, but by season 9, they they don't know how to finish it, and the ending left us all confused. It basically soured the
Ako, Andy,
series
I don't
for
know about
us.
you. Ikaw confused. Ako, galit ako nung ending nun.
Yeah, like
Going back.
also yeah, like, di ba? This is a great story, but now we're at the point na they don't know how to write a good ending for it. And this is my reaction when it happened, huh? And days later, maybe okay, I'll just wait. This is gonna be another wait and see mode on how are they gonna write it. This will only make sense if humiwalay na sila sa story ni Roman. Like Jay and Jimmy will split into a story of their own. Pero if it still involves the bloodline, then that's it. Like, I will officially give up on this story.
Look at you, baby's first rant. Proud, growing up. First time I've ever heard you go on a row-like rant there. Interesting. Normally, I would agree. You brought up a lot of good points. I gotta say, some of those I echo. Pero the thing is, I would. I need to reserve judgment first because I don't know what the next step is, diba? Kasi people don't like letting it play out. I gotta let it play out because the story doesn't stop at one chapter. It doesn't stop until the story is over. So the thing you mentioned about Jimmy and Jay doing their own thing away from Roman and Solo, that is what I am hoping for. And if they go that way, that's something that tells me they had a lot of things in mind that I think they fleshed out talaga. And if not, then you're right, totally right. I agree. So I don't want to pass judgment on it yet because the week isn't over. It just is the way it is when it comes to how the weekly programs are structured, and I think you don't want to shoot your shot too early yet. When the next part of the story is literally tomorrow on SmackDown, diba? So I appreciate your rant, but I think it might we'll find out tomorrow if it was if it ages well or it becomes a freezing cold take, diba? So I want to save it first. I'll say whatever I have to say about it next week.
May mga moving parts pa tayo rito eh. For one, there was a report coming out of SummerSlam na injured daw si Roman Reigns. Not that it should affect Roman per se because it's not like he wrestles every week, but if it's a very serious injury, then baka magka-problema. Other moving parts going around, they already started sowing seeds of discord between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. And then you've got Jimmy versus Jay. So I was listening to the Masked Man show and si Kaz, yung partner ni Shoemaker, he mentioned this idea na what if it's a fatal four-way at Survivor Series with an Uso in every corner? Payag ba kayo dun?
Right now, I don't want it to be about Roman Reigns' championship. Like, yes, obviously, the same way they did this for Finn and Seth and Damian. Obviously, the loser story has nothing to do with the championship at this point. Talagang iba yung end goal for that. The Usos did say as well that they wanted to do a brother versus brother match, an Us versus Us match. So, may ganun din. So maybe it has something to do with the championship. They also said that they really had no plans of doing a Jay title run, which is understandable because this guy was born to be in a tag team. Literally, because they were twins, right? They're twin wrestlers, so that's a thing. So I don't want that. I don't really. It would be nice, but I don't want it now. I think maybe when the Jay versus Jimmy thing blossoms further, if it blossoms further, okay lang din. But I do also want to see the Jay versus Jimmy thing. So again, Emil, I'll let you cook first before I mention another point.
Again, same point I said earlier na I don't want Jimmy and Jay to get involved with Roman anytime soon if they're gonna go this route. No, na they're gonna have their own feud. Kasi again, it goes back to there's for me pag nangyari yun parang I don't want, like it needs to be a separate thing of its own. So I feel like Survivor Series is too soon for that.
All right. Do you guys want to see Jimmy versus Jay at WrestleMania or at the next big pay-per-view, which is likely Survivor Series?
I don't know. Either would be fine, I think. I don't know if Survivor Series is gonna be a thing. But then naman, I do think it's a WrestleMania worthy story, the same way Matt versus Jeff Hardy was supposed to be that, diba? I wouldn't mind that.
WrestleMania sobrang layo pa eh. Like that's why I want this to, if they're gonna go until WrestleMania, then have a slow burn to this. Like
Okay.
wag muna silang magharap.
All right. I'm glad you mentioned the slow burn because that's the next point I wanted to get to, because I saw the reactions online and a lot of people, they're tired of the long-term storytelling. So one moment they say they want long-term storytelling, then now they say nah, all of this is too much. Like there's too much soap opera, there's too much teleserye, masyadong matagal. It's running week to week. There's no real satisfying resolution, diba? So I gotta ask you guys here and you guys in the chat, what do you think of this? Like, are we being dragged on for too long? Should it be yung Pinoy style teleserye na the story goes on and on and on every day, every week without clear endpoints, or should it be like a Western style TV series? There's a clear end, and then there's a season break, and then we get back to it, and then so on and so forth. There's a clear stop. So you expect the story to be concluded a certain way in that particular stop. But wrestling never stops, right? WWE never stops, for sure. So the thing people thought they wanted is now the thing that people are tired of. So, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So what do you guys think of that? Because to me, I'm okay with it because I like watching it all unfold. I do think the story is well told. It is frustrating at times, pero that's the nature of a fictional narrative, diba?
Ikaw, Emil, you start.
Yeah, siguro yeah. Ro is making good points here. Na yes, we have dreamed of finally having long-term storytelling in WWE for so long, and now we're getting it. Ang sa akin lang, it has to make sense kasi. For me to like it. Pero things like this, it's a wait and see mode, no? This is primarily the this is the initial reaction to everything that has happened. Pero siguro my take will age badly in a few weeks, pero to me, for long-term story to work, it has to make sense. Yun lang naman.
But you don't know that yet. It hasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It hasn't unfolded.
That's why you tune in every week to make
Okay nga, but you can't say it doesn't make sense now because there might be something up their sleeve that makes it make sense on Friday or next week, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Kaya
right.
parang that criticism also doesn't make sense because you're basing it on what you see now. Yeah. So yun nga, like, are we tired of this? It does feel like you don't want it because you're judging it on what's happened now.
Di naman.
Leo brings up the good point that Heyman said it was the bottom of the third, diba? And then, so if it's the third, that's what? That's only the third, 1/3 of the first third of the game.
So ano pa to? 9 years pa to?
Yeah,
9
exactly,
years
right?
story.
So yun nga, are you prepared? Are you prepared to go that long to see it all the way to the 9th?
Siguro dapat may definite end. Yun lang naman. And I can sense when the ending, when the climax is happy, yung talaga ma-anticipate mo na okay, this is gonna be the climax of this story, and this is when this is the most anticipated part of the story na for sure we'll get a definite answer to all of the story that has been building up to this moment.
The way I see it, just to chime in here, feeling ko yung frustration ng internet. I'm not speaking for myself, but I think yung frustration comes from the fact na yung SummerSlam had two big endings that people were hoping for, and then neither of those endings went their way. People were expecting Finn to finally defeat Seth, and people were expecting a feel-good moment for Jay. Never mind na hindi siya pagtataksila ni Jimmy Uso. But we both didn't get those endings, and I think that's what added to yung frustration ng mga tao sa internet.
That brings me to my next question. So, so many things. Sorry, so many things about about both of those things actually. Uh, at this point, do you want to get the fan service moment, even though it doesn't serve the bigger story? Say, obviously, Roman Reigns is being saved up for WrestleMania, whether it's The Rock or whether it's Cody, to finish his story. Ano yan? Do you want it to serve you in the short term, or are you still committed to the long term story that they're clearly telling here?
Ooh. As
Diba?
things go right now.
Do you want to
hindi
feel
ko pa
good now,
masasagot.
or do you want to say?
Yeah. Sobrang mahirap sagutin ito. Because again, you don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen in a few months. If you're still gonna feel the same thing na you're feeling now, your opinions will it still be the same 3 months from now? So yeah, that's a hard question to answer, honestly, for me.
I think everyone everyone who's angry on the internet has to go through that line of questioning para
Yeah.
matauhan sila may masmasan. Alam mo yun? Look at Emil, just a few minutes ago, he was all up in arms,
Yeah.
and now he's like, oo nga, no, I see your point there.
Yeah, yun na nga, in the last
Things
few
you
days,
gotta think
that
about,
is, that's what the questions na tumatakbo sa isip ko. What I said earlier was my initial reaction on Sunday. And then I got days now to think about it, and, again, this is going to be a wait-and-see mode.
Emil became a kid again because he got taken to school. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Io Sky. That was an ending we actually liked for the genius of the Sky. Nag-cash in siya ng Money in the Bank. All efficient. Walang hesitation from the referee. Walang back and forth. Just beat Bianca, who was already injured with the briefcase. Cashed in over the moonsault. 1, 2, 3. New women's champion. It was a very crazy sequence, and I'm sure this is one of the happier endings that people actually had coming out of SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I like... Sige. I like
go
na
ahead.
they just... I like that na they just went with it. Like, no damage control. There's no damage control turn, or there's no drama that was involved. They just straight up cashed in, had a feel good moment for the fans. Also in Skinny Mike's and in Detroit. So
Yeah. That was the thing. And yeah, so not just EO, but they were really doing all the feel good stuff because they knew, and Triple H intentionally did it that way, diba? Na, he wanted to send the crowd home sad. So he prepared us for the moment. He let us well as gently as he could, diba? So good on him. So I guess may balance pa rin siya. Like, he has a sense of balance. Talk about that a little more after the break, but I do enjoy it's great that he still has it in him to give us the fan service moments. Some fan service moments.
Yeah, I really love how you had Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte all trying to kill each other for the women's championship, only for a fourth person who wasn't even in the match to sneak up on everyone. Naka-abangers mode siya, tapos she goes home with the championship. Super cathartic din for Damage Control to be reunited. Diba, bumalik si Dakota Kai for that moment. If you guys have been reading yung stories on the internet, kinuwento niya na sobrang madalian pa yung paglipad niya papuntang Detroit. Like, she woke up 1 p.m. Eastern time on the day of the show. So it's a miracle that it all came together, and it was one of the better moments from a crazy SummerSlam. Any other thoughts with the way that Money in the Bank happened, or the way that triple threat match went down?
No, the triple threat
No.
match. I know people got mad kasi Bianca won, but Bianca siya yung dapat nanalo eh, diba? So siya yung nanalo dapat so that Io can cash in on her. She could eat the pin, take the loss, be the scapegoat. And okay, it's fine. Bianca's so good.
Durog na yung tuhod niya, diba? So it made sense na she
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to overcome
yeah.
Io after that brutal match.
Apparently, she was working the injury then, so that was really, really good acting. May future siya sa Hollywood.
Clearly.
I got sold. I bought into the injury, and then she did the 450 on one leg. Too good to be true, but it was still pretty impressive looking, diba? So that was she's still one of the best athletes nasa WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, same thing. Bianca, tama lang. She was the right person to take the pin from Io, and plus it adds a title reign to her resume. Like, it doesn't matter a few years from now, people will not remember na her reign was that short, pero it's gonna add to her to her accolades. You know, she's now what, a 3-time women's champion. So
That's right, yeah.
good for her.
Yeah, but never forget No Mercy 2007 nung nagpalitan sina Triple H and Randy Orton in the same night like 2 or 3 times. So medyo napas-stat padding din sila on that night. So Emil is absolutely right there. All right, let's talk about the Judgment Day because itong si babyface producer Jasper na-deflate siya coming out of this match. So the Damian Priest meme is now in the annals of internet lore and I love it. I am here for it. But now we're getting Finn versus Damian. Clear na to. And JD McDonough has seamlessly been woven into the storyline as well. Siya yung parang advisor ni Finn backstage kasi nga may history sila. And si Damian, inaangasan din niya to si JD McDonough. Para sino ka ba? Ano bang business mo dito, di ba? So what did you think about how that all went down? Let's start with Ro this time.
Yun nga, like I said kanina, yun yung dapat mangyari. Like, they were clearly building up Finn versus Damian. And while I agree na dapat, they could have done the same thing if Finn won the championship. I'm also not surprised kasi yun nga yung gusto nila mangyari. They've been teasing the split for a while now. Again, I told ABL here in the Discord na pag winawater nila yung seeds na tinanim nila, it usually means na mangyayari na siya agad, sooner rather than later. So, it's to be expected. And again, goes back to the question: Are you here for the short-term happiness or the short-term joy, or are you here to let the story unfold? So, yun nga, that's the question you have to ask yourself kapag nararamdaman mo tong frustration na to.
I've been going through wrestling Twitter and after the match, meron mga nagsasabi na wala na, di na legit superstar si Finn Balor, di na siya legit main eventer kasi nawalan siya ng credibility because he couldn't defeat Seth. Emil, do you agree with this take or not?
No, I don't. Kasi this is the story of, if you have been noticing the Judgment Day over the last year or so, this has been the story they're trying to tell with Finn Balor, that he can't win the big matches. That is his character as of this moment. He's the guy who is the leader of the Judgment Day, but he can't cash in he can't cash in wins. He can't get titles. He can't. So basically, he's like the loser of the Judgment Day, and that is basically the motivation of Finn being, dispute of Finn being jealous of Damian. Na he's the one with the money in the bank, and yun. So it makes sense. This time it actually makes sense. So even though na-frustrate ako when he lost to Seth, but at the same time, I realized na the story can progress without Finn winning the championship naman. So I'm okay with it suddenly. I said last week na for the story to continue, Finn has to win, but now maybe the storyline is fine with Finn not winning.
All right. Who knows? But Damian Priest might cash in, become World Heavyweight Champion, only for Finn to find some way to take the title from Priest or to turn his back on Priest right then and there. Diba? Damian Priest might be the Randy Orton of 2023 or 2024. Still in the cards, but still could happen within the next few months. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will answer a question that was asked nung Monday Picks of the Week live stream natin. I believe it was Glendale who asked that question. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. Right. Sorry about that. You heard a message from our podcasts on the Pod Network. So it takes a while. It takes a while to remember. We have been doing this for 4+ years.
I'm going to make that mistake too.
Yeah, at some point we
You're
will
gonna
all
make that mistake as well.
we will all slip up, and it was my turn to slip up tonight. All right. There was a question from Glendale nung Monday night live stream natin. Tinanong ni Glendale if we are in the midst of a wrestling boom. Because look at this very stacked roster that we have right now. It's not even a top-heavy WWE. Because you go down the line after Roman and Cody and Seth, you have Sammy, you have KO, and that's not even talking about the women yet. Sina Becky, Charlotte, Asuka, Bianca, Io, diba? Jay and Jimmy are made men. Finn, Damian, Dominic, Rhea, they're all made people. So, let me ask you, Ro, because I know you have a lot to unpack from this. Are we really in the midst of a wrestling boom?
Yeah, let's acknowledge Julian first. Si Julian yung nagtanong ng question. So we acknowledge
si Julian
you,
pala, sorry.
Julian. Yeah. Okay, so there are a bunch of people na pinupush ngayon. A lot of people, more people than ever actually. A lot of NXT guys, a lot of Hunters kids. Talagang iba na ang landscape ngayon. It's not like before where Vince would, string us along and, obviously neglect yung mga nagaano, yung mga gusto niyang i-push and gustong i-push ng mga fans, diba? So the problem is you are also seeing a lot of people complaining about this wrestler not getting a push, this wrestler not getting TV time, like say Johnny Gargano not getting TV time. A lot of other guys you don't see often. A lot of people not winning championships, like Jay not winning a championship, Finn not winning a championship. So a lot of complaints like that right now, and it's really interesting because Triple H is building this bubble, and he's not doing anything wrong because he's listening to not just listening to the fans, the WWE universe, pero he's also parang bumabawi siya sa mga anak niyang nako-call up sa main roster, tapos Vince does wrong by them for whatever reason, whether he doesn't like them, doesn't see what Triple H sees, or just not best for business when it, in Vince's opinion. So Triple H is giving a lot of effort and attention to a lot of these people, and the natural result is that there will be some people who will disappoint the WWE universe, the fandom, diba? Kasi you get a taste of this person possibly getting a big push or TV time, the attention that Vince didn't give them, and then wala, diba? You might even think now, it's back to the way things were after the honeymoon period in Triple H, diba? But it's weird because there's so much more people than ever getting this groundswell of support, and because we're in such a boom period, we're also parang kind of normalizing it, and normalizing when it comes to the level of who's getting which push, and eventually the boom isn't going to be the boom. People will be disappointed like we are right now, and it's funny kasi it's a reflection ng mindset, ng attitude ng mga fans na they want it all, but the truth is not even Triple H can give it all to you, diba? We can't have it all, and it's funny because they really want to make it work, but it can't work like that. So naturally, Finn has to lose, Jay has to lose, Cody has to lose sometimes, diba? Johnny Gargano can't get TV time, Candice LeRae can't get TV time because there are only so many spots to go around and distribute to people. So I just want you guys to know that when you think business is booming, it can't boom for everyone, no matter how you guys want it. And kahit si Triple H, kahit gusto rin niyang i-boom sa lahat, i-push sa lahat, syempre hindi naman pwedeng lahat. May matatalo pa rin. Somebody has to lose for someone else to win, and and get over it. You guys remember that scene from Bruce Almighty where he becomes God and then he answers everyone's prayers because he didn't want to think about who to not give, who to deny a prayer to, diba? That's kind of like what we're happening now. What's happening now, except Triple H figured it out na you can't have everyone win the lotto, diba? Talagang may matatalo, and people have to understand that sooner than later. Because if they don't, you will be disappointed by who's not winning. Diba? You do have to not just finish the story, but follow the story. You know, that's just all I have to say. Whenever you feel like this person or that person, this wrestler or that wrestler isn't getting the effort or the attention or the push that you want, just remember na hindi pwedeng manalo lahat. There, we had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
Yeah, it's actually something that I've been thinking about as well, especially from yung context namin ni Ro, na we were, in a wrestling scene where ganun din, 'di ba? There's only a limited number of spots. There's only so much airtime. And kahit na kayo na mismo yung nagbubuk ng show, hindi rin pwede panalo lahat, 'di ba? So, you just enlarge that on the scale of WWE and think about how everyone cannot win. That's just the reality of it, 'di ba? Ikaw, Emil, may may counterpoint ka ba? Or may feelings ka ba about this wrestling boom and how, while it is a boom, not everyone can reap the benefits of that boom right here, right now?
I'd rather have a deep roster now what we have now rather than a few years ago where everyone's getting injured. So wala. Like yung depth ng roster is very shallow. Like I'd rather have this one. Saka I'd compare it to, again, going like in my other passion, which is basketball. Sa isang team, hindi naman lahat superstar eh. Hindi naman lahat sila yung umi-score. Hindi naman lahat sila yung main star. You only have one or two stars in a team. And then everyone has a role to play. So, hindi ibig sabihin na someone is having this role. Ibig sabihin na he doesn't have a chance to rise up the ranks and become a superstar one day. So yung mga wrestlers na people are feeling like na nasasayang, na-waste, there's gonna be a chance for them to prove themselves. And then if the people will like it, people will love it, then management will love it. I mean, they're gonna give that person a chance to go up the card. Unlike with Vince, where if Vince's mind is set on something, yun yung masusunod. Walang kukontra unless people will be angry about it. Pero with Vince, that's what yun yung situation before. But now everyone, yes, not everyone can win, but for me it's more of a level playing field. That everyone has a chance to prove themselves and everyone has a role to play in this wrestling boom.
Maganda rin itong bring up ni Mon in the comments na, some superstars who aren't getting TV time on the main roster get sent to NXT and then that's where they're getting their reps, diba? Sina Baron Corbin, Dana Brooke, Mustafa Ali, even Angel and Humberto who have this little vignette now, diba? Angel worked hard for that one tier. Just the fact that they were able to get that out of him, diba? In another lifetime, I don't think we would have had all of these people coming into NXT and being an integral part of their weekly storytelling. So I echo what Ro and Emil have said here. It's actually a good thing right now. Parang not everything can be 100% your way. So we take what we can. And I'd still think that it's still better today than it was before.
One thing I also realized just now, yung ginawa ni Triple H in the year that he's been back, he called up like years worth of call-ups in like a few months, diba? So that doesn't happen. That's never happened before. Kaya we now have a glut of his NXT kids now on the main roster. And then syempre, back then, Vince was, staggering them, pushing, calling them up in intervals, and now you have all of these guys here at the same time. So talagang hindi mo siya mabibigyan ng the same effort all throughout.
Yeah. Do you want to answer this quick question from Angelo, who's a new commenter? Thoughts daw on Nick Aldis joining WWE as a producer?
Yeah.
Bali-balita to from the weekend.
Yeah. It's funny kasi he's also facing the LA Knight problem na Vince didn't initially want to give LA Knight kasi yung opportunity kasi matanda na siya. Aldis is also pretty old. He's pretty, he's a veteran now.
He's 40,
he's 40 and normally you would get signed to be a player, and I think bagay naman si Nick Aldis WWE main roster, but I also see na why they put him in a producer role. at this time, then I think he would also get lost in the shuffle. So I don't mind. Aldous is pretty solid. He's also like in the LA Knight mold, but not an Attitude Era cosplayer. So I get it. I get it. I don't think that precludes him. I don't think that'll stop them from booking him on the show. I think it's a matter of time. But it's not a bad ad.
Yeah. Let's see, diba? If Adam Pearce nagawan siya ng role, diba? Despite it being a non-wrestling capacity, but if they were able to find something for Adam Pearce, who's to say na hindi nila magagawa ng role one day si Nick Aldis, the national treasure. All right, let's get to Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Na nagulat tayong lahat when Brock Lesnar, after all of these months of terrorizing Cody and brutalizing him in front of his mother, nung natalo siya ni Cody Rhodes, he went up and offered his hand, hugged the man, and raised his arm in victory. Clearly endorsement to mula kay Brock Lesnar, and aside from winning the World Championship, an endorsement from Brock Lesnar is, I would argue, the next best thing. So, Emil, what does Cody do from here?
He will go on to continue finishing his story. That's
I have to finish the story.
Yeah, exactly. Na ganun naman talaga yung progression nitong story when the feud started. Na Cody has to overcome Brock to maybe so that parang again, it's gonna be a seal of approval. If he defeats Brock, then there might be a chance now he's probably gonna be good enough to face Roman again. So it's that.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Ro, may reactions ka ba from Brock doing what he did at the end of that match?
Yeah, I still don't think I still need the steel steps spot explained to me. Bakit hindi naging,
Yeah.
no, I know why hindi siya naging DQ, but I also would like to know why the ref didn't call for the DQ. Brock endorsing Cody, maybe because nasira ni Cody yung shorts niya. So he thought that was impressive, I guess. No, I think it's a sign of Brock acknowledging Cody as he's ready for it. I don't know what made Brock the gatekeeper of the main event scene, but I guess it's a good sign. I don't know how they plan to write the Cody arc thing from here, pero syempre the fact that he won over Brock and the fact that Brock made that gesture, it served its purpose na boost yung profile ni Cody.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other thoughts, or do you want to move on to LA Knight?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Appropriate. Let's talk about LA Knight then. Wins the Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal, so he gets that Slim Jim money. He's on that TVC alongside Bianca Belair. And then 2 nights after SummerSlam, he's in the ring against The Miz despite being a SmackDown guy. And everybody's saying na, parang medyo na-expose si LA Knight dito ah. Emil, did you feel that way, or did you feel na napantayan naman niya si Miz on the mic?
He did. Nakasabay naman siya, but barely. Kasi I've never... Dito ko lang talaga nakita yung The Rock comparisons with LA Knight and The Rock. Kasi The Rock, his promos is basically... he's one of the greatest. Pero when you see his promos, it's mostly the same thing every time. Lagi lang nilalait yung opponent niya. And with here, I was so nervous na LA Knight will choke after yung mga sinabi ni Miz. Pero I'm glad that LA Knight nakasabay siya. And he didn't resort to what The Rock would do in the Attitude Era, which is, pointing out Mrs. Tiny Balls and all that. So, parang he
did point out Mrs. Tiny Balls.
No, but that was at the beginning. That was at the beginning where I thought, oh boy, oh boy, maybe he's gonna choke here. The last part of that promo, okay din. Okay yung sinabi niya na he's yung basically said na he's sporty and he's gonna use the Miz as a stepping stone to get to the main event and all that. So good job to LA Knight. I really kinabahan talaga ako doon na he might choke, but he held up his own.
Yeah, I saw people talking about it before I actually saw the segment. People said he kind of choked. I don't think he choked, just because he flubbed the toilet line. I don't think so. I don't know kung sinulat yung promo content niya by the writers, pero I thought he did pretty fine Emil's right in saying that it wasn't your typical Rock promo where he fights serious allegations with childish nonsense, juvenile name calling, diba? LA Knight actually fleshed out a pretty good part of his whatever lore there was, diba? His backstory. So I appreciated na he actually gave an insight into who he was, what he did before WWE, anong ginagawa niya ngayon sa WWE, ano yung goals niya, diba? So it's actually a pretty good introductory promo. Actually, the kind of promo that he should have cut the first time he stepped foot as LA Knight. Pero syempre, ito yung reintroduction niya as a main or something of a main event player or something of a big
as a
player.
baby face. Kasi heel siya noon eh. Like, you can't really say those things nung heel pa siya, diba? So now that he's really a baby face, I think this is the right time to bust that out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's pretty good. Huge was right. It was a lot better than I was expecting. It's already a lot better than whatever Rock would do, diba? So, yun pa lang. And the fact that LA Knight doesn't have to read his wrist to get through his promo, diba? So I was pretty good. I was pretty convinced. I am also slowly getting convinced of how LA Knight is worthy of the spot. Kasi yun nga, as Emil said, there were worries of him just being all catchphrase and soundbite and popular meme catchphrase, diba? So I like this now. He showed na kaya niyang laliman pa. So okay yun for me.
Yeah. Really good stuff from LA Knight, who is a full-fledged babyface, unlike Shinsuke Nakamura, who turned heel at the very end of this week's Monday Night Raw. He attacked Seth Rollins, and he's going after the World Heavyweight Championship. And it was kind of leading up to this over the past few weeks kasi diba sinasabi ni Shinsuke na I'm tired of people getting in my way, I'm tired of people not respecting me, and then all of a sudden, kala natin like he would just turn heel on Ciampa or maybe on Bronson Reed, but no, he went straight for Seth freaking Rollins. Emil, what went through your mind when this came out?
I like it. Kasi, I don't know, maybe when Triple H took over and challenging Gunther, I thought he was going somewhere. Maybe being back again to the upper mid-card scene. And then nawala siya for a while, and now he's just trying to get back into the scheme of things. And him going heel, I'm fine with. Kasi Seth needs new challengers then for the World Heavyweight Championship. And when this happened, yung unang pumasok sa isip ko is, I wish they could bring Lil Uzi Vert's Nakamura as his heel theme song. So, I know that might not happen, but wishful thinking. And for all Nakamura fans, this is just gonna be good for all of you kasi he's gonna have maybe a 2 to 3 PLE feuds here with Seth, and it's gonna be a good program.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought Shinsuke turned like a few weeks ago. Akala ko the whole Ciampa thing was him already turning. Eh, pala may ito turn pa pala siya. And deserve, I am more a fan of face Nakamura, but heel Nakamura was where he made his bread and butter in NJPW, diba? Dun siya naging over, and then he naturally got over because of his Michael Jackson stylings, diba? So it's fun to get back to what worked originally. So okay lang din. It means yun nga, Triple H is giving him his turn in the sun. Maybe it leads somewhere, maybe it doesn't. Maybe he's just it's just one of those flavor of the month pushes, which is fine, I guess. Sa edad ni Nakamura ngayon, I mean, like, it doesn't really have anything left to prove. Like, yes, it would be nice to have a world championship, either one of them. Pero, alam mo yun, if I were him, I'd be happy just collecting the WWE bag. Some people will hate that he kind of phones it in, but after years, after a decade plus in New Japan, I would just I would just take it easy and stay doing what keeps me over.
Yeah, let's not forget na 20-plus year veteran na rin si Shinsuke Nakamura. Halos kasabayan niya si Bryan Danielson. And Danielson's been in the game since 99-2000, diba? So
They are batchmates sa LA Dojo.
that's right. So, it should paint a picture of how long Shinsuke Nakamura has been in the game. We're gonna cross over now to AEW. And if you noticed, for the last few weeks, yung main event ng AEW Dynamite has always been a women's match. I think 3 or 4 weeks running na to. And this week, we got it again. Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay for the Women's World Championship. It was the one women's match. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the one women's segment on the entire show. And they saved it for the main event.
Yeah, it was. It was, really was. So he's been doing this lately. He did Death Before Dishonor with a women's main event. He was doing Rampage a couple of weeks ago, a couple of weeks running now with a women's main event. Then he did this for the second week in a row. So yeah, I don't think we talked about this here on the stream, but there was this sign a couple of weeks ago na they panned to amazingly on Dynamite that said book the women's division better. So I can't believe they let that slide. So ito, apparently Tony Khan's idea of booking the women's division better is putting them in the main event. And over the weekend, but it has to be mentioned that Lufisto, an indie veteran who is a woman wrestler, she was talking about reports that she got from someone in the locker room ng AEW na it's a bit rough over there. The environment is essentially toxic, and then apparently, reportedly, Tony Khan is ragging on the women for not drawing as much in the ratings. So there's stuff like that. And on one hand, while it's easy to deny things are happening because Tony Khan presents himself as a being shucks kind of guy when it comes to the wrestlers around him. You can also kind of see it manifest in the way the show is booked, the way some of the women act on Twitter, diba? There are some of them being bullies, and then one thing doesn't line up with the other, diba? So it's pretty sad. Yeah. I can see that Tony Khan really doesn't value the women as much. Actions are a lot stronger than words. If he really gave a shit, it wouldn't be a token women's segment on the show. Yun. So, you can't fool me. Yun nga, di mo kami manaloko, Tony Khan, diba? So, sad lang. I don't know what it's gonna take. Pero kasi, some people are protected. Like Britt Baker, the Outcast. Some people are fine with the spots they have because they're given TV time. So it's like the big stars in WWE. They're not gonna call for unionization because they get really good benefits. So you're not gonna see a players association or wrestlers association anytime soon because some others are doing a lot better than most others. Diba? So it's sad that he is trying to PR his way out of this by pretending that the women's main event is really, really what women's wrestling fans want to see from AEW.
Ikaw, Emil, anything to add, or is status quo okay with you?
No, TK has long ways to go before fixing or fixing this women's division, and his actions again does not bode well for the long-term progress of this division. Parang ito yung mga putting the main events, it's only a band-aid solution. It's not a permanent fix to how the booking of the women's division is. Matagal pa. Like, this is still but TK has to be the one who should he should be committed to actually changing the women's division, not just putting them in the main event. For me, hindi pa yon enough for me to say na he's doing something. Like, hey, you put them in the main event, pero still doesn't change the fact na it has been the booking of the women's division, it's not that great.
May tanong si Julian, what happened to Willow after her Owen Cup win in the Athena match?
Exactly.
Oh, she is doing more things on Collision and Ring of Honor. So, you have to watch those. It's not wrong naman, pero syempre, if we had more than the lone token women's match or segment on the show, we would get less of these questions, diba? And we would get less of these wasted momentum.
Yeah, it's not just a Dynamite problem actually. It's all three shows, if you notice,
Yeah.
diba? You have that token women's segment on all three shows. Ganun lang talaga. All right, we're gonna finish up here with a live stream. Meron pa tayong audio-only discussion, and believe us, so there's still a lot to talk about in the audio-only part, which goes up tomorrow on your favorite podcast platforms. We're gonna talk about the JAS breakup. So that happened to start Dynamite kanina, and you gotta wonder, where does everyone go from here? Because I think the only one who really comes out here looking or smelling like roses is Anna J, because she doesn't have to go by Anna JAS anymore. And I've always hated how she decided to get called Anna JAS nung naging part siya ng faction ni Jericho. Emil, any guesses on what happens from this point? Like, does Jericho join Don Callis based on what happened here?
So Jericho hasn't joined the Callis family, right? Hindi
Yeah,
pa?
wala pa. Wala pa.
Not yet.
So this-
He made the decision next week.
So maybe this is a swerve.
Yeah.
Na, like they're still together after
Yeah,
by next
after
week.
the Don Callis conversation he had kanina backstage, I think this is a swerve. Kasi all of these things, the meeting that they had, tapos yung breakup, the decision of some of the other guys, especially si Tai Conchi, Jake Hager, all of that felt rushed because we never really got to see them. The only people we had to see have their frustrations were Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia, and then some of the 2.0 guys, diba? So it felt super rushed, and it's because of that I feel that it's actually not gonna push through. Even though I think people are ready to have the JAS breakup. For some reason, syempre kasi it employs like a good number of the mid-carders sa AEW. Pero I think it was a good idea to have them break up, although I wanted the breakup to be a little more handled better. Pero syempre, okay na rin kasi new opportunities for everyone involved.
Yeah. Gusto ko itong pinoint out ni Angelo na si Daniel Garcia sumayaw pa rin
Oh,
kahit
man.
na
That was
bubura
funny.
na siya.
No, I like that point. It's great that you mentioned kasi Garcia had a really good promo in that segment kasi he literally detailed how he turned his back on being a wrestler, quote unquote,
Yes.
to be a sports entertainer to impress Chris Jericho. And then it's great that they touched on that detail kasi that little arc was pretty much forgotten after that happened. So I like where that was going, and that's why I said na it is time then to break up the JAS kasi ang daming ibang potential ng mga mid-carders dito.
Yeah, I think of all of the people who voiced yung frustrations nila, sina Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara lang talaga yung nakapag-express ng pagka-flesh out nun.
Kasi
kita
they
mo
were
yung
the ones
frustration
getting
nila
the
eh.
story. Yeah, they were the ones who got the story.
Yeah. Everyone else, alam mo yung sobrang babo, like Jake Hager goes, I liked that hat. Or okay, so you used the past tense. Good for you, buddy. But yeah, I appreciate naman the effort to tell yung story ni Garcia and to flesh out Sammy Guevara even more. So we'll see what happens next week when Chris Jericho has his own The Decision segment, and we'll find out where he will take his talents to. All right, we've got the audio-only version coming up. We have a lot to talk about between MJF and Adam Cole going after Aussie Open, the New Day's return, Chad Gable's push, Shayna Baszler becoming a babyface right now, the Street Profits who aren't getting a lot of love just because there's so much love to go around and so much to talk about, and the two NXT Heritage Cup champions. All of that part of your audio-only portion of the podcast. But let's get some plugs here, and let's start with Raw and the newest episode of your solo pod.
Hey, yeah. Unmasked is out with the new episode today, episode 9. We are in the last 3 episodes of the season, so please stay tuned for that. We're wrapping up the year 2016, which is pretty much the worst year in PWR history so far. So please stay tuned for that. But on this episode 9. I talk about rather with ABL, the first and only mainline PWR event in the South. So that was in BF Homes. It was the Road to Revolution X, and while it wasn't controversial as Manila Madness or Batanes, it's still pretty interesting kasi it was a badly promoted event in the South. So that's why you never see us go south of Makati. So yun lang. Ayan.
Yeah.
So, please check that out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and check it out. Subscribe if you haven't yet. So, yun. And syempre as well, before we get to it, MWF Action Novela TV is on its second week on Rock of Manila TV, and next week it will start the Gigil at Romansa. Ay, sorry, tama ba? Gigil at Romansa. Yeah,
Gigil at Romansa.
Yeah. Gigil at Romansa episodes that we taped last month. So if you are raring to go back and following our story, tune in next week, next Monday on Rock of Manila TV at 9 p.m. And it's on Sky Cable Channel 229, and on your Digibox. It's also available on Facebook and YouTube ng Rock of Manila TV.
Yeah. Emil, ikaw, anything to plug?
No, not really. Just follow me on all my socials, on Twitter and on TikTok. Email_Meister.
All right. For me, go check out post-show recaps. That's where I recap Heel Season 2. New episode just dropped nung Tuesday where we talked about yung current story na ng Heels. Hindi na siya flashback. So go check that out if you need someone to process Heels with, because there is still quite a lot to talk about despite Season 2 so far not being as heavy as Season 1. Thank God. So again, the show's called Post-Show Recaps. Then look for the Heels recaps there in the main feed. All right. See, Chino's got an event. Babyface producer Jasper, let's throw up that slide. It's happening on August 26. It's called One Time Big Time at Wicked Dogs BGC. Ticket prices are on your screen. So please support Chino as well, because one of the reasons why he's not as available on the live streams is because he's actually mounting events like this. So go support your local stand-up comedians who aren't problematic. All right. If you want to follow us on your social media, you know where to find us. It is at Wrestling2XPod on TikTok and on Twitter, at Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and on Spotify. And individually, it is at EML_Meister, at Chino Supersized, at Rowiswar, at Monday Night Rowan, and at _Stan C. Thank you very much to Babyface producer Jasper at the controls, and thank you to everyone over at the Pod Network for all of the good work that they do. Mag-announce kami. Probably by tomorrow, us officially joining the Pod Network.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have a lot of announcements to go around.
Oh, yeah.
We
Speaking of, we have a special announcement next week on the stream. Please tune in. I think you guys will like this one.
Yes.
So this is TK's announcement of an announcement.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
I will have an
Astutely
announcement
pointed out.
graphic for the announcement.
That's right. So that's all coming up in the live stream for next week. As always, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. Go catch the Pick of the Week special if you haven't yet, and we'll release another one by Monday or Tuesday next week. This is another episode of the Wrestling Podcast in the books. On behalf of the Cuffing Emil ASH and Romoran, my name is Stan C, saying stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye.
Peace.